Hi, Crosswatchers. This is a Crosswatcher video for those who are cross-watching about Gemini for the month of June 2019. Those of you who don't know what cross-watching is, sometimes there's somebody in our life, we're dating them or we're interested in them, or we were dating them and we broke up and we're waiting for them to come back, or a family member or somebody that means a lot to us or that we're really curious about, and so we might be tempted to go on YouTube and watch their tarot readings just to get an idea of what's going on in their life. So this one is specifically for those people who are kind of trying to get information about a Gemini. A couple of things. Number one, this is not a tea channel. I'm not spilling tea. I'm not looking at anybody's dirty laundry. I ask for information that's going to bring about healing and help everybody involved. It's not just kind of like, oh, let's be nosy or let's spy. I'm not about that. This is about how to help the situation, what is in Gemini's best interest for Crosswatcher to know, what is in Crosswatcher's best interest to know so that they can maybe be prepared and even protect themselves. It's just for the highest good of everyone involved. That is my intention here. Thirdly, if you are a Gemini watching this video, it may not resonate with you at all. You might be like, what? I'm a Gemini and this makes no sense. And there's a reason for that. Your person may not be watching my channel. Your person might be watching a different tarot reader, or your person may not believe in tarot readings at all, and they might not be watching tarot readings about you. So again, this is a general reading. There might be some parts that apply, some parts that don't. It's not going to be for every single person, okay? But this is for those who are cross-watching for Gemini, and for those who are cross-watching for the Geminis that are aligned with my energy, and the cross-watchers who are aligned with my energy. What you need to know. Okay, so let's see what is going on for Gemini. So, after this, I'm gonna pull a special message for you for what Gemini wants Crosswatcher to know. Alrighty, so we have Ace of Swords in the very, very beginning here. Our first card for Gemini is Ace of Swords. Makes sense because the Swords cards have to do with air, and Gemini is an air sign. So Gemini may be really in that, air sign energy. They might be in their head right now, but the fact that it's Ace of Swords is positive because it's telling us that they're having a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things, creative new ideas. They're looking at ways of being more productive. They're looking at ways of making more of a positive difference or solving situations or problems in their life. So if you have been dealing with a Gemini where last you all left off, you were maybe irritated about something, or like you wanted them to work on something, or you gave them something to think about, Ace of Swords says they're thinking about it. And they're taking it seriously. And they're even making progress. They're even seeing solutions where maybe before they didn't see solutions. There could even be some mental maturing here. Some maturity in the way that they're looking at a situation, or growth. Maybe maturing is not the right word because some people get offended when I say that. And I'm not saying Gemini is immature. I'm just saying there's some kind of mental growth here, where they're looking at things from a new perspective. They may even be planning for the future, and they may be feeling very confident or very excited about the ideas that are coming to them at this time. Next, we have the Tower, you guys. The Tower. So this is really intense energy. This is a major arcana card. So those of you who are familiar with my readings and kind of like the things that I have said in the past, for me as a reader, when I receive a major arcana card in a reading, when I'm looking at a love situation or just interaction between two people, the major arcana cards tell me a couple of things. Number one, they tell me that there's a soul connection here. There's a past life connection. There's a soulmate connection. You all were meant to meet. Okay, it was already predetermined for you all to meet because you all had a contract with one another. Now, I want to clarify something. We have a lot of free will in life. I'm not one of those people who believes every step of your life has been planned for you. We have a whole lot of wiggle room, but there are certain things we came here to accomplish, or certain things that we came here to learn, where those are little moments that are set in stone. And so there's some people that are programmed into that. And when I see a major arcana card, it tells me that this is one of your situations where this is someone that you had an agreement with, that you all were gonna connect in this life and have an interaction with one another. Okay, so that's the first thing the major arcana card tells me. The second thing it tells me is, if I look at what the card is, it tells me what the contract is, what you all were meant to experience together. And you all have the Tower. Okay, you all have the Tower. I'm gonna be honest with you, Crosswatcher. I feel that those of you who are watching are dealing with a Gemini who either there were a lot of things about life that they did not want to take seriously, okay? Or for some of you, not for all of you, and especially if you're a Gemini watching this, don't get offended, because it's not for every single Gemini, but for some of you, the Gemini involved in this situation is a bit of a player, okay? Maybe they don't even mean to be, okay? Because sometimes the Gemini, I've said this in other videos, I love Geminis, have nothing against them. I've got good friends who are Geminis, but sometimes they can be very, very much like butterflies, where they don't land in one place for very long. It's like something catches their eye, they'll flutter over there, they'll just kind of flutter around for a while, and then they'll go flutter off into something else. They get very distracted, or they go from thing to thing, or they hop from thing to thing pretty easily. Sorry, I'm hearing noise from outside and it's distracting me. Alright, sorry about that. Some kind of craziness. So Gemini is going to go from, like, sometimes some Geminis, they'll just kind of wander around and they don't really get settled in one place for very long, because they're always looking for that mental stimulation, or they're always looking for, like, the next interesting thing sometimes. And so I feel something about the interaction with you, or something in their life is about to happen which you set in motion, that their life is not going to be the same again. They're coming into some kind of a Tower moment. Okay, now I want to clarify something. Tower moments don't come in to punish us. Tower moments don't come in as like a punishment or a curse. It's because the universe is redirecting us to where it's time to be, so that we're not dilly-dallying and we're not losing time, and we're being redirected to where we need to be in that moment for, like, the next lesson. Like, universe waited and waited and waited, and then, like, maybe we dilly-dally too much and the universe comes in and moves things around. That's the energy that I'm getting here with this Tower card for Gemini. So if you've been waiting for them to figure something out, or see see things in a different way, or some of you are maybe like, I just want this person to go through their spiritual awakening, or I want them to see the truth of a situation, or whatever it might be, this Tower moment is going to be bringing it in. Okay, there's nothing you need to do. You don't need to plead with this Gemini. You don't need to educate them. You don't need to try to convince them. You don't need to debate with them. Their guardian angels in the universe is about to step in with whatever it is their eyes need to be opened to. Something is going to be opened in a very big way. For some of you, this is very interesting and this is very specific. It's not typically like a message that I would get, but it's coming in, and my rule is, if I hear it, I have to say it. So what I'm hearing is that for some of you, this Tower moment has to do with this Gemini's family. Okay, maybe this Gemini's family has been holding them back, or has been dictating their life for them, or maybe they've been telling this Gemini that they shouldn't be with you, or they shouldn't do this, or they shouldn't do that, or maybe they were repeating certain negative patterns that they saw in their family. But there's some kind of Tower moment that's coming in where they're breaking away from that. They're not going to do things that way anymore. Okay, it's like that family tree is getting struck by lightning, and I don't mean that something bad is going to happen to their family, God forbid, knock on wood, but just more kind of that old structure. They're no longer basing their decisions on that. Okay, for some of you, you're dealing with a Gemini who maybe had family that was either being very toxic and like robbing them of their self-confidence or tearing them down, or some of you who are with Geminis or dealing with Geminis who are newer on their path, they may have had some very not so great or not so healthy coping mechanisms, and they may have had family that's been enabling them, and so that might be getting cut off, and that's going to be forcing them to make some changes or to go in a new direction. Again, this is a general reading, and it's going to be different in different ways for different ones. But those of you who've been waiting for a Gemini to have this aha moment or this awakening, there's nothing more you need to do. The universe is on it. Their guardian angels are on it. Something's going to be happening in June where they have that, eye-opening moment. Okay? So next here we have Temperance, another major arcana card. This is going to be a big month for your Gemini. A very big month. So after they have this awakening, I almost feel like when this happens, when this thing happens, you're going to be the first person that they think about. Like, they're going to want to reach out to you, and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, like, now I get what you were trying to say to me, or now I get what you were like trying to prepare me for. I see it now. And so you might be like, awesome, Gemini's eyes are open. They learned whatever lesson they needed to learn, and now we're going to move forward and everything's going to be great. Well, you have another major arcana card here yet again. So yes, this person's kind of gravitating towards you. They're realizing that you're going to be a big part of their journey, that there's this soul connection here. But Temperance is about balance, and Temperance is about you got to walk before you can run. So even though Gemini's eyes are open, they're not going to hit the ground running 100 miles an hour here. Like, they're gonna need to take some baby steps. They're gonna need to come to. They're gonna need to get like their composure, and they're gonna want you to walk beside them or be a part of this journey. But they're not gonna be in a place where they can move forward super fast. Okay, so Temperance is about balance. Temperance is about having reasonable expectations and realizing and understanding that this person is going to need some time to get from point A to point B or from point A to point Z. It's not going to be an overnight journey. Okay, it's not going to be an overnight journey. But Gemini is definitely making very, very, very long-term plans. They're taking life very seriously. They're getting into modes and ways of planning and analyzing and strategy that they've never done before. Right? Because they've made this decision that they want to have an abundant life, and they've made this decision that they want to have, a solid romantic relationship, and they want to have a sense of home and a sense of belonging and a sense of family and a sense of career. So they're taking things super seriously, but they're also, you got to keep in mind, Gemini is an air sign, and air signs are really, really good about turning something over in their mind 100 different ways. They're going to look at something from every single angle, right? They're going to look at something from every single angle. So, they might not make decisions super fast. They might not take action super fast, but they are planning. They are making an effort. They are preparing themselves. But again, it's not going to be overnight. And so, Crosswatcher, you need to keep this in mind as you're dealing with them. Another major arcana card. You guys have a massive connection here, my dear. It's almost every single card so far has been a major arcana card. So massive connection here. Again, this is going to be strength. This is, having to be strong. For me, the strength card is also a card about commitment. It's a card about loyalty. It's a card about resilience and stamina. It has a lot of different meanings for me as a reader. But the one big meaning here for me is kind of going out into the unknown, being in a vulnerable situation, and coming out of it victorious. We see this person here, this young person. Okay, it's kind of androgynous. We can see it as a male. We can see it as a female. There seems to be a little bit of booby here, I think. Or it could be just the shirt hanging, whatever it is. But we see this young individual here, right? And they're next to this lion and they're in their underwear, okay? So they're very vulnerable, right? I don't want to, think about being in a situation like that. But this lion seems to be really chill. This lion seems to be very comfortable. This lion seems to be uh, happy with this young person. I mean, we could maybe even imagine that if we stepped up to this young person in like a threatening way, this lion would probably jump up and come at us like a guard dog would, right? Like that kind of energy. So this person doesn't have like whips or anything to intimidate this lion with or to harm this lion with. In fact, this young person is petting this lion and showing this lion love. And in turn, this lion seems to be very loyal and beside this young person. So a lot of the times too, the strength card comes to us with the message that you're going to catch a lot more flies with honey than you are with vinegar. And that might be what your Gemini needs from you. Your Gemini might need that gentleness. Your Gemini might be feeling very vulnerable and they just need to feel protected, or they need to feel like you're in their corner, or like with you may need to let your guard down, and you may feel vulnerable by being patient with this Gemini and being loving and not trying to steer Gemini or order Gemini around out of your love or concern, but kind of let Gemini find their own way, but be there and be a part of the journey. So there's some vulnerability here, okay? And it's probably going to go both ways. Gemini is kind of going into some uncharted territory here. We already know from the Tower card, something is happening where their life is never going to be the same again. They're going in a whole new direction. They're going into like this awakening, and they may feel a little bit vulnerable, and they're going to need you to be, that safe energy, in this process. Next, we have Two of Swords. So Two of Swords could be, and keep in mind this is the month of June, so this is just kind of like what's happening in June, or like maybe the weeks thereafter. Two of Swords is an energy where there's kind of sometimes an impasse, where like you're not seeing eye to eye, or you're afraid to take action, or you're afraid of the next steps. And Gemini might get into that energy. Gemini might start getting a little bit nervous. But remember what Spirit just said. You gotta be in this calm energy, Don't try to come in and be like, Gemini, you need to do this or you need to do that, because they're gonna retreat. They're gonna be more in their fear, okay? So this is something you're gonna have to keep in mind, that there might be certain kind of points with your Gemini where they're making a lot of progress and something might happen and they might get a little bit spooked, or they may feel a little overwhelmed, or they may feel a little stressed out, and they may need to take a little bit of a break. They might just be like, whoa, I've been making a lot of progress and wow, I don't want to think about the next thing. So again, and we had the Temperance card for that reason. It's letting you know this is not going to be an overnight process. You're going to be dealing with somebody who maybe is going to take a few steps forward and then maybe a step or two back, or maybe a few steps forward and then rest for a little bit and then get up and take a few more steps again. This is someone who really, really is coming into a whole new way of life, a whole new spiritual awakening. And so they're going to need you to be patient with them. That's really what I'm getting. So we're going to see what Gemini has to say to Crosswatcher. What does Gemini want Crosswatcher to know? What does Gemini want Crosswatcher to know? What does Gemini want Crosswatcher to know? Alrighty. So here, okay, there's a message on the back of this card, and I'm going to read it to you in just a moment. But one thing I want to say is I tend to read tarot intuitively. I'm familiar with what the cards mean, okay, but I also read the pictures and what jumps out at me from the pictures. And so as I'm looking at this, I kind of feel like this person seems to be coming towards her with good intentions. I mean, if we look at the stance here, if we look at this demeanor here, and the way the hands are out, and the look on the face, and the body language, this person's not charging at her in a threatening way. If anything, maybe this person's lost, and they're trying to help them through these tall kind of flowers or weeds or whatever, and guide them back onto the main road. But this person has their hands up, like they're maybe a little bit nervous. They might have the sun in their eyes and they can't see this person's trying to help them. And that could be your Gemini's energy. As they're awakening and as this light is coming into their life, there may be times when the light is very bright. It's very overwhelming for them and they can't make heads from tails. You know, like you may be trying to help them, but they might not be in a place where they can see that. Okay, so you're going to have to be patient and you're going to have to approach in a very, very subtle way, because there may be some defensiveness or there may be some fear here with that Gemini energy. And I realize this is male and this is female and this is male, and you might be a cross watcher, you may be a female, you may not be a male, but it doesn't matter. Either way, you know, this is just kind of what I'm feeling is happening here for some of you. The message itself says, sometimes the one thing you are looking for is the one thing you cannot see, right? And so I think Gemini maybe also wants you to know that they mean well. They mean well, but maybe you're not seeing that they mean well or that they're trying. You know, you might see all of the problems here and they're like, well, I'm trying to deal with it, but you may not see that, right? So they're maybe trying to let you know is that, like, I am trying, don't give up on me. You know, please see the ways in which I'm making an effort, or please see the ways in which I'm trying to get a hold of things. You know, or sometimes, you know, maybe for some of you, this Gemini is saying that they're beginning to see you in a new light. Maybe they had underestimated you, and all those major arcana cards we saw, they're beginning to realize that, hey, there's a real soul connection here. And I didn't see it before, but I see it now. What would be beneficial for Crosswatcher to share with Gemini? What may be helpful for Crosswatcher to share with Gemini or let Gemini know? Okay. I feel like I want to pull a different one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not, just something about that wasn't. And that card just came out for Capricorn. So I want to get something different. What may be good for Crosswatcher to let Gemini know? Oh, someone is feeling frosted out. There may be some icy energy between the two of you. There may be a little bit of a barrier. Okay, maybe some of you are having to break that ice. Once you see into someone's soul, you're connected forever. There may be some obstacles here, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not hating on Gemini, but Gemini is an air sign. And Gemini sometimes, or air signs sometimes, not always. You know, I have friends who are air signs, and some of them are super duper, really warm people. But sometimes, especially if an air sign is stressed or if there's things happening in their life, they can feel a little icy. They can feel a little reserved. Okay? And so there might be some obstacles here that are in the way. There may be certain aspects of the relationship that have cooled down, so to speak. But the connection is still there. So I think maybe this Gemini just needs to know that you see the connection as well, and that you acknowledge and that you can see into their soul, and that they're trying, that you see that they're trying, right? You see the good in them. And, you know, if you feel this is worth saving or worth working on, it may be very reassuring for them to hear that. All right, my dears? Check out your love readings for the month of June. those are going to be up for all of the zodiac signs in the next couple of days. And guys, I don't just do love readings. I mean, I understand love is important. A lot of people come to me for love. I'm happy to do private readings on love, but I don't consider myself a love psychic. So in the weekly forecasts, I do, money, spirituality, career, family life, all the other very, very important areas of life. I don't just limit things to love. So I encourage you to also check out your weekly forecast for your zodiac sign. There will be love readings for your zodiac sign too. I'm not going to leave love out. But, take a look at the other parts of life too that are very important and that make us up as a whole. So I thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Thank you for being here. Sending you all the best.